look at you, walking in quieter, sharper, colder, and suddenly everybody's uncomfortable. Funny, isn't it? Back when you were easy to read, easy to distract, easy to use, they loved you. Back when you laughed things off. Back when you let disrespect slide. Back when you played confused, just so nobody felt threatened by your brain, your instincts, your presence. Oh, they adored that version of you. They could breathe around that version of you. They could feel tall around that version of you. They could feel important around that version of you. But now you pause before you answer. Now you notice patterns. Now you hear what people mean, not just what they say. Now you stop over-explaining yourself to people committed to misunderstanding you. Now you stop handing out access like it's free candy. Now you stop making yourself look smaller so insecure people can feel like giants. And suddenly they say, you changed. No, you didn't. You just stopped acting stupid so they could feel big. That's what really happened. You stopped pretending not to notice when somebody only called you when they needed something. You stopped pretending not to notice when people spoke over you, then came back later trying to repackage your own idea like it was theirs. You stopped pretending not to notice the fake concern, the weird jokes disguised as just playing, the subtle shade, the little power games, the way some people only liked you when you were doubting yourself. That's not you changing. That's you waking up. And people get real nervous when the person they used to manipulate starts seeing in high definition. Because let's be honest, a lot of people were never attached to you. They were attached to the version of you that benefited them, the version that didn't question anything, the version that stayed available no matter how badly they treated you, the version that apologized too fast, the version that kept saying, maybe I'm overthinking, the version that kept giving the benefit of the doubt until your own soul felt bankrupt. They miss that version because that version was convenient, not because it was healthy, not because it was real, convenient. See, when you start using your mind, really using it, you become dangerous to anybody who built their confidence on your confusion. That's why the energy shifts. That's why the room feels weird when you walk in and don't perform anymore. That's why people start saying you're different, hard to talk to, too serious, too much, acting brand new, thinking you're better. No, they just can't access the old cheat code anymore. That's what's bothering them. The old version of you used to let them get away with lazy behavior, lazy honesty, lazy loyalty, lazy respect. They could show up half real, half present, half clean, half truthful, and you'd still make it work. You'd still translate their nonsense into something lovable. You'd still sit there, stitching meaning into their mixed signals like a fool with hope in your hands. But now you let silence answer for you. Now you let distance speak. Now you let people reveal themselves without interrupting the process. That kind of intelligence, it terrifies people. Not textbook intelligence, not the kind that wins arguments online and quotes facts all day. I'm talking about survival intelligence, pattern recognition, energy reading, emotional mathematics, that inner click when you realize this person is not confused, they are calculating. This person is not inconsistent, they are strategic. This person is not bad at communicating. They are making sure you stay emotionally off balance so they can keep control. And once you see that, really see it, you can't unsee it. That's when your whole life starts to split in two. On one side, the old you, The one who kept trying to be understood by people who enjoyed misunderstanding you. The one who kept showing loyalty to people who treated your heart like a waiting room. The one who kept making excuses for people because facing the truth hurt more than staying in denial. The one who confused being needed with being valued. The one who thought being chosen late was better than not being chosen at all. And on the other side, the new you, the real you, the one who finally understands that peace is more valuable than attention. The one who knows that not everybody who smiles at you is safe. The one who knows that just because someone has access to your number doesn't mean they deserve access to your soul. The one who understands that being underestimated can be a blessing, but staying underestimated on purpose is self-betrayal. That's the line you crossed, and people felt it. You know what really messes with them? It's not just that you got smarter. It's that you got smarter without asking for permission. You didn't send out a warning. You didn't gather the committee. You didn't make a little announcement saying, "Hey guys, just so you know, I'm about to develop standards." No, you just did it, quietly, internally, one disappointment at a time, one betrayal at a time, one lonely night at a time, one hard truth at a time. That's how real change happens. Not in speeches, not in quotes, not in captions, in pain. Pain taught you what politeness never could. Pain taught you to stop confusing potential with reality. Pain taught you that some people study your softness just to find where to cut. Pain taught you that being a good person does not protect you from bad people. Pain taught you that your silence was being read as weakness by people too shallow to recognize restraint. Pain taught you that every time you abandoned your instincts to keep the peace still left and you were the one left bleeding. So yeah, you got sharper. What did they expect? That you'd go through all that and come out the same? That you'd keep getting played and somehow call it maturity? That you'd keep letting people rehearse disrespect on your spirit and still show up smiling like some obedient extra in their little ego movie? No. Something in you finally got tired. Not tired in a lazy way, tired in a holy way. Tired in a deep, ancient, soul-level way. The kind of tired that changes your taste, changes your tolerance, changes the way you hear words, changes the way your stomach reacts when fake energy gets too close, changes the way your body starts rejecting what your mind used to rationalize. That kind of tired is sacred, because that's the moment your standards stop being theory. That's the moment you stop saying, "I deserve better," and start acting like it. And that's where people start panicking, because a lot of them built their access to you on the assumption that you would keep doubting yourself. They thought your kindness meant blindness. They thought your patience meant permission. They thought your empathy meant they could keep feeding you crumbs and calling it love, calling it friendship, calling it family, calling it, "You know how I am." Yeah, you do know how they are now. That's the problem. You know how they are. You know who only supports you when you're struggling, but gets weird when you're winning. You know who gets real dry the second you stop being the clown, the therapist, the backup plan, the emotional Uber, the free rescue service. You know who secretly preferred you messy because your mess made them feel organized. Your insecurity made them feel superior. Your hesitation made them feel bold. You stopped donating your self-worth to people who were spiritually broke. And now they're offended. Good. Let them be offended. Because some people only feel comfortable around a version of you that betrays itself. They don't want your growth. They want your compliance. They don't want your truth. They want your performance. They don't want your power. They want your availability. They don't want the real you. They want the manageable you. And the manageable you is dead. Buried. No funeral. No flowers. No speech. Just gone. You know what's wild? The same people calling you cold now were perfectly warm when you were suffering in silence. They didn't mind your pain as long as it made you easier to control. They didn't mind your confusion as long as it kept you from confronting them. They didn't mind your overthinking when it made you second-guess your own standards. But the second your spine came back, the second your brain clicked in, the second your eyes got clear, now you're too much. That phrase right there. Too much. That's one of the favorite weapons of people who benefited from your underperformance. Too much honesty, too much self-respect, too much awareness, too much backbone, too much distance, too many questions, too little tolerance for nonsense. Good. Be too much for people who are giving you too little. Be too much for people who confuse access with ownership. Be too much for people who want the benefits of your presence without the responsibility of treating you right. Be too much for people who want your loyalty but resent your intelligence. Be too much for people who only clap for you when you're playing small enough not to outshine their mediocrity. Let them choke on it. Because this version of you, this version is expensive. This version was paid for in heartbreak, humiliation, self-reflection, swallowed words, fake smiles, private breakdowns, hard resets, lonely growth, and the kind of nights where you realized nobody was coming to save you. That knowledge does something to a person. It removes the baby face from your soul. Now when people lie, you hear the gap between the words. Now when people flatter you, you check the timing. Now when people return, you don't ask if they missed you. You ask what they want. Now when someone says, "You've changed," you don't panic. You don't shrink. You don't rush to explain yourself like a hostage, negotiating for basic respect. You say nothing because you finally understand this simple, brutal truth. Anybody disturbed by your growth was benefiting from your weakness. Read that again in your bones. Anybody disturbed by your growth was benefiting from your weakness. That friend who got weird when you got focused. That ex who liked you insecure. That family member who only felt wise when you played clueless. That coworker who liked you better when you stayed quiet. That circle that cheered for your chaos but went silent at your discipline. They were feeding on a version of you that no longer exists. Of course they're grieving, but their grief is not your responsibility. You are not required to keep bleeding just because other people got used to your wound. You are not required to dim your instincts because somebody else built their confidence on your confusion. You are not required to keep being easy to deal with at the cost of being hard on yourself. That era is over, and let's talk about the part nobody says out loud. Sometimes you are in on it, yeah. Let's keep it real. Sometimes you knew. Deep down, you knew. You knew they were playing games. You knew they were disrespectful. You knew they weren't real. You knew the energy was off. You knew the excuses didn't add up. You knew the vibe after every interaction felt heavy for a reason. But you acted stupid anyway. Not because you were actually stupid, because you were trying to survive. Because being aware meant making hard choices. Because facing the truth meant losing people. Because outgrowing dynamics meant outgrowing identities. Because sometimes pretending not to know feels easier than admitting you've been settling. That's human. But you're not there anymore. Now you know that every time you fake confusion to keep a relationship, you teach people that your boundaries are negotiable. Every time you silence your intuition to stay liked, you abandon yourself in public. Every time you laugh off disrespect, so nobody feels awkward, your nervous system keeps the receipt. That's why the glow-up wasn't just mental, it was cellular. Your body got tired of carrying what your mouth refused to say. So now when something feels off, you move different. Now when someone plays dumb with your time, your energy, your peace, you don't chase clarity from chaos. Now when someone tries to guilt you for changing, you don't fall for it. Because changing was the assignment. You were supposed to change. You were supposed to get harder to fool. You were supposed to get cleaner in your discernment. You were supposed to stop handing microphones to people who only ever used them to rewrite your reality. You were supposed to stop confusing history with loyalty. You were supposed to stop calling survival patterns personality traits. That's growth. And growth isn't always pretty. Sometimes growth looks rude to people who were profiting from your lack of boundaries. Sometimes growth looks arrogant to people who liked you uncertain. Sometimes growth looks cold to people who had unlimited access to your warmth without earning it. Sometimes growth looks dramatic to people whose comfort depended on your silence. Let them name it whatever helps them sleep. You know what it is. It's self-respect with teeth. It's awareness with a pulse. It's pain finally learning how to fight back. And maybe that's the part that scares them the most. Not that you got smart, not that you changed, but that you no longer need their version of the story to feel stable. You don't need them to validate what you felt. You don't need them to confess. You don't need closure wrapped in a neat little apology. You don't need everyone to agree that you were mistreated before you choose distance. That is power. That is dangerous, beautiful, terrifying power. The moment you stop needing permission to trust your own mind, you become unmanageable to manipulative people. And that's exactly what happened. Now they can't bait you the same. Now they can't distract you the same. Now they can't throw charm over disrespect and expect you to call it connection. Now they can't hit you with "you're overthinking" when your intuition is just outrunning their lies. You see it, you feel it, and you move accordingly. That's not bitterness. That's calibration. That's not hatred. That's accuracy. That's not you being negative. That's you finally refusing to romanticize what hurt you. There comes a point where healing stops sounding soft. It starts sounding clear. It starts sounding like no. It starts sounding like I'm not explaining this twice. It starts sounding like that doesn't work for me. It starts sounding like silence, distance, standards, timing, and the holy art of not reacting to bait. That kind of healing doesn't trend well because it doesn't perform sweetness for people who never protected your heart. But it saves lives. Maybe not your body, but your future, your peace, your self-trust, your ability to walk into the next chapter without dragging old poison behind you like it deserves one more chance. Listen carefully. You were never too sensitive. You were picking up on things other people were too scared to name. You were never crazy. You were being gaslit by people who needed your confusion more than they needed honesty. You were never asking for too much. You were asking the wrong people. And you didn't become heartless. You became harder to fool. There's a difference, a huge difference. Heartless people destroy people and sleep fine. You just stopped volunteering to be destroyed. That's growth. That's wisdom. That's the kind of transformation people love in theory, but hate in practice. Because your healing changes the terms of access. Now everybody doesn't get the same version of you. Now everybody doesn't get instant trust. Now everybody doesn't get your softness on demand. Now everybody doesn't get your over-explanation, your endless patience, your emotional labor, your benefit of the doubt package deal. Now they get discernment first, as they should. And the ones who are real, the ones who actually love you, the ones with clean intentions and steady energy, they won't fear your change. They'll respect it. They'll recognize the difference between you becoming fake and you becoming free. They won't guilt trip you back into old wounds just because the old version of you was easier to digest. Only the users complain when the free trial ends. Remember that. Only the users complain when the free trial ends. So let them whisper. Let them say you're different. Let them act shocked. Let them stare at the new boundaries like they've never seen a locked door before. Because this time, you're not going to unlock yourself just because somebody feels entitled to enter. This time, you keep your mind sharp. This time, you keep your standards high. This time, you stop laughing at things that violate your spirit. This time, you stop turning red flags into little DIY projects. This time, you stop calling it a misunderstanding when your intuition is screaming. This time, you stop offering loyalty to people who only offer vibes. This time, you stop pretending not to know what you know. That's the real shift. Not that you changed. That you stopped betraying your intelligence to keep other people comfortable. That you stopped shrinking your awareness so small-minded people could feel tall. That you stopped performing confusion for people who were counting on your self-doubt. That you stopped making yourself emotionally available to anybody who knew how to talk pretty, but not how to show up clean. And now your silence hits harder. Now your distance means something. Now your eyes are different. Now your energy says, I've seen enough. And the beautiful part is, you didn't become less of yourself. You became more honest, more precise, more awake, more dangerous to nonsense, more allergic to fake love, fake loyalty, fake apologies, fake depth, fake concern, fake support, more real and real people, real power, real self-respect. That always makes fragile egos nervous. So the next time somebody looks at you sideways and says, you changed, let that truth sit in the room like a loaded silence. Because what they're really saying is, you don't let me play with you like I used to. You don't need me the way you used to. You don't doubt yourself enough for me to control the story anymore. You don't hand me the same easy version of your mind anymore. You finally realized your intelligence was never the problem. And that's when you keep that cold little smile in your spirit. Because you know something they don't want to admit. You were never hard to love. You were just finally too awake to use.